Shalom. Call Halayim La. Alahayanawa. Abanawa. Yahweh. Bahasham. Yahweh Shai. Bahasham. Waharach Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. It's the brother Ainah, back with another lesson, Lord willing, is edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Genesis 41 and 50 says the sons of Joseph. And unto Joseph were born two sons before the years of famine came, which Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, bore unto him. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for the Most High said, He have made me forgot all my toil and all my father's house. Okay. I just want to go into, the meaning of Manasseh real quick to prove, that the charts, the names on the charts, the 12 tribe charts actually line up through prophecy. Okay, because these names that were given to our people, these so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are the true biblical Israelites, these are Omen Nomens. All right. It says, and Joseph called the name of his firstborn Manasseh, for Most High said, He have made me forget all my toil in all my father's house. Right? When you click on that word Manasseh,
Strong's H 4519, Manasseh.
it says causing to forget. All right, you go into that root word Nasa.
Strong's H 5382, Nasha.
All right, it says to forget, to deprive, to forget, to be forgotten, to cause to forget, allow to be forgotten, right? It says a primitive root to forget, figuratively, to neglect, causatively, to remit, remove, forget, deprive, exact. All right? And the reason I'm bringing this out, because it's spiritual, man. That the tribe of Manasseh, who are the so-called Cubans today, right, have been forgotten, right? Through Esau and, certain events that have happened. Okay, Cubans have been forgotten and so-called left behind. Okay, and when you go back to the meaning of it, it says to forget, to be forgotten. Okay, to neglect, and that's exactly what's been happening to these Cubans. All right, I got an article right here. Okay, it's from Earth Times. It was printed February 18th, 2026. It says Cuba's 2026 crisis, U.S. oil sanctions, blackouts, and tourism collapse rock the island, right? And there's something that you know, Babylon the Great has done to Cuba, and you know, the people of the tribe of Manasseh basically neglected them, basically, um, you know, excluding them, okay, from, you know, participation in a lot of things in their kingdom, in Babylon's kingdom, man, because they see them as non-compliant. Okay, it says Cuba, long defined by its vibrant culture, classic cars, and sun-soaked beaches. And the reason why they have classic cars, okay, is because you know, a lot of the classic cars you see in, you know, some of the movies, they go get them from Cuba, because Cuba is stuck in a time period because they won't, America won't allow cars to be imported into Cuba. Okay, and I'll get into it. Why? It says classic cars and sun-baked beaches is facing one of the most severe economic, humanitarian crisis in recent memory. It is, and its causes are deeply embedded in a rapid deteriorating global geopolitical landscape. What started as expanding pressure from the United States has evolved into a full-blown crisis that's threatening energy security, tourism revenue, and everyday life for millions of Cubans, right? It says a strategic shift in U.S. policy. The crisis gripping Cuba in 2026 didn't emerge overnight. It flows from a long history of strained U.S.-Cuba relations, including the decades-old embargo and shifting policy approaches across different American administrations. In the late in late January, President Donald Trump issued an executive order declaring a national emergency and authorizing and additional tariffs on goods from any country that supplies oil to Cuba. I'm gonna read that again. It says authorizing in additional tariffs on goods from any country that supplies oil to Cuba. That move, part of a broader maximum pressure strategy, was explicitly designed to choke off Cuba's access to energy imports and development closely examined in national policy discussions, including analysis featured at the U.S. report. Okay? Says Cuba relies heavily on imported oil to power its aging infrastructure, run transportation systems, fuel electricity plants, and keep its hospitals operating. For decades, Venezuela supplied most of that fuel, often at favorable terms, a lifeline that came with ideological I ideological Slovakia ideological, that's a tongue twister for me, Slovakia, alignment, okay? But after a U.S. military operation toppled Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro in early January, those shipments abruptly stopped. Without them, Cuba has struggled to keep its lights on, its buses running, and its economy from collapsing. All right? So let's go back and kind of, pick this apart. Okay, it says that, um, America, Babylon the Great, okay, it says was, I'm reading right here where it says maximum pressure strategy was explicitly designed to choke off Cuba's access to energy imports. So to cut them off, right? Okay, to cut them off, man, to make them suffer. And when you go back in the history of, some of the things, it's like, I don't know why I did that. Man, I had this thing queued up. And now I act like it's crazy. Fucking demons, bro. I had this thing queued up. And now I'm ready for it. Alright, let's block it. I'm gonna read this. It says, how many years has Cuba been ostracized? Okay, and that's the word I was, trying to say in the beginning. Being ostracized, being cut off, or made to forget. Okay, which fits the Omen Nomen of Manassah. It says Cuba has been under a U.S. economic, commercial, and financial embargo for over 60 years, right? Made to forget, okay? With major restrictions dating back to 1962, the policy aimed in isolating, okay, the Cuban government, okay, to isolate somebody, to make them, okay, be forgotten, so to speak. When you go back to the word neglect, okay, deprive, these things are what Esau, Edom, so-called white man, is doing to the Cubans, or to the tribe of Manasseh, man, which is why, okay, the name, okay, Manasseh, made to forget, suits them, and therefore the 12 chart sign is correct through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. And you gotta have some faith to believe that, man. Okay, it says the policy aimed at isolating the Cuban government has lasted more than six decades. Okay, consulting one of the longest running embargoes in modern history. Now, when you go to that word embargo, it says embargo, from the Oxford Dictionary. It says an official ban on trade or other commercial activity with a particular country, which that would be Cuba. Okay. It says impose an official ban on trade or a country or commodity. Okay. A ship or goods for state service. Okay, so you basically have a ban, okay, to even help, which it makes sense why they picked up Maduro, because Maduro was helping Cuba out, okay, with oil and, helping them stay afloat. All right. So I'm going to continue on. It says, while sanctions began shortly after 1959, after the 1959 revolution, the official comprehensive embargo was declared by President Kennedy in 1962. As of 2026, this policy of ostracization has persisted over 60 years. The embargo has significantly damaged Cuba's economic development with estimates suggesting it has cost the country up to $1 trillion. Okay. It says the UN General Assembly has consistently voted against the embargo, with 184 nations voting to end it in 2021. Okay, the legal framework. The embargo was strengthened by the 1996 Cuban Liberty and Democratic Solidarity Act, often called Helms-Burton Act. Okay, I'm probably going to look that up later. For the sake of the lesson, I'm going to keep it moving. So again, something else I want to go into. Let's look up that word, ostracization. Let's see. Hey, because our people are gonna have to start getting used to being ostracized from society. The elect is already ostracized from society because their spirit, okay, is withdrawn from this world. Okay, it says ostracization, a noun, refers to an act of excluding, shunning, or socially rejecting someone from a group, made to forget. All right. And before I end it, I want to go into one more thing. Damn, I lost my train of thought. Okay. Says Omen Nomen Omen is a Latin phrase meaning the name is a sign, right? Or the name is an omen, suggesting that a person's name reflects their personality, profession, or destiny. It implies a name driven outcome, nominative determinism, where a person's name foreshadows their life, path, or character trait. And the character trait of the Manassans, the tribe of Manasseh, is being forgotten. And that's exactly what has happened to them, okay? Which the prophecy of them being made to be forgotten by their namesake. Okay, that's happened already, man. So the 12 tribes chart is accurate, man. All right, man. Lord willing, this is edifying. It's lucky for being long-winded. Shalom.